Plans to deal with coastal erosion on Sandy Neck will soon go before Town Council. The Planning Board will review the proposed housing production plan, and the Economic Development Commission hopes a zoning change could help grow business in Hyannis. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, September 13th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mantle. Plans to deal with coastal erosion on Sandy Neck Beach will soon go before Town Council. Town officials will present long-term erosion control options detailed in a recent grant-funded study. Sandy Neck Board member Peter Sampu recently met with Town Councilors Phil Wallace and John Flores, both of whom serve as liaisons to that committee.
I met the two of them, and we went over page by page. They had a full new copy for themselves, and I invested a bunch of hours sitting with them, explaining the science behind it, explaining our general understanding and recommendations as an advisory board, at which time, I went through the options, the really inability to get through granting agencies or getting through regulatory agencies, any kind of armoring, the futility, at least in the long run, and financial ruin of dumping sand there repeatedly, given the 50-year projection of erosion along that whole coast. They took their time. They asked plenty of questions. We went through all of the steps of option 5. Again, I won't speak for them, but my impression afterwards of hearing them is Councilor Flores and Councilor Wallace realized the wisdom behind consolidating all of the management structure. So Nina, her staff, the gatehouse, up in the vicinity of the top, what's the building called where they got the food and everything? The bathhouse. Up by the bathhouse, having that up there, and so therefore then being able to control an ORV trail right from that exit. So it was certainly my impression that 5A, both councilors said, for that difference in the money between the two, it just doesn't serve Nina and her staff very well keeping those separate.
And the Sandy Neck Board hopes to present the plans to Town Council this month. The Planning Board is reviewing the proposed housing production plan. Consultant Jennifer Goldson says the plan utilizes multiple strategies to increase housing options in Barnstable.
Support use of advanced treatment alternative septic technologies, strengthen the accessory affordable apartment program and allow market rate accessory apartments, incentivize development of affordable assisted or independent living units for low-income seniors, encourage small, low-density, village-scale, mixed-use, and multi-unit development in village centers. And that's what that little picture on top is getting to. My view of small, low-density, village-scale, mixed-use, and multi-unit. When I say those words, that's what I have pictured in my mind. Incentives for extremely low and very low, as well as middle-income housing, which all show some level of need. You have more need for the extremely low and very low side. Allow increased density for mixed-use and multi-unit development in downtown Hyannis growth incentive zone, and prepare a comprehensive review and recodification of the zoning ordinance. And then for local initiative strategies, we're recommending that you expand and improve the accessory apartment program, which has been very successful at creating SHI units, but it needs more staffing. To create a local rental assistance program, so similar to federal and state programs that provide vouchers for households to rent, so they don't have to spend more than 30% of their income on housing costs. You can create a local program we're recommending using CPA funds for that program, and that would be an eligible Community Preservation Act expenditure. Explore ways to expand capacity and the activity of the Affordable Housing Growth Development Trust Fund, which is in existence and does have resources. Create an initial intake form for local housing funds. This is more about coordinating how you spend your funds rather than having developers or nonprofits go, to the CPA and then go separately to the trust and then go separately for CDBG funds. Have an intake form where the Growth Management Department can look at what this project is and help identify which resources and in what combination to ask for them. Doesn't change any of your local approvals. And then create a local rehab program for low-income homeowners to help homeowners who are also highly cost-burdened in your community with housing costs and housing rehab, including septic upgrades, health and safety, handicap accessibility, energy efficiency. Fund the creation of new housing authority rental units, and an idea that's been talked about a lot is trying to find some municipal land, perhaps, that the housing authority can build additional rental units. They're particularly in need of rental units for families. Explore offering town properties for affordable rental units. We did not list what town properties to offer, but we did talk about the importance of being deliberate about that when looking at town surplus land. Create an infrastructure relief fund with community development funds to help defray the costs of water and sewer connection costs. Now, some of this, it's a little nuanced because, well, I won't get into the details, but this will work to some extent, but in certain areas of the town better than other areas, and it's just because of the federal regulations. I can describe that more if you're interested. Promote comprehensive neighborhood revitalization with targeted public works and streetscape improvements. So looking at where's affordable housing development going, where are you focusing a housing rehab program?
The Planning Board will review that housing production plan before taking a final vote. The housing production plan will also go before Town Council before being sent to state officials for final approval. The Barnstable Economic Development Commission says a small zoning change in Hyannis could help grow business. EDC member Hank Farnham talked about the need for the change.
One of the key things when we met with some of the property owners in this district that we learned was that it was the new zoning that was proposed to create more medical uses in that area has not materialized, and what's happened is a lot of the former uses are no longer eligible. So there are vacancies, and they're having trouble finding tenants to move into their property after a couple of years of trying to make this work. The BEDC, in just stepping back for a minute, has decided that we wanted to look at some of the zoning, and you folks know better than any of the rest of us the zoning challenges we have throughout the town. Our zoning ordinances are probably bigger than most of the rest of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts cities and towns, and so we wanted to look at some of the areas where zoning we thought needed some more tweaking, and we met with Joanne Miller-Buntich, and she suggested this would be a good start. It's taken a long time. It was a good start, but it's taken a long time to get us here. We have some other areas that we're going to be looking at and meeting with some of the property owners and hopefully coming back with you folks to make some recommendations to upgrade zoning in some of those areas as well. So we, after meeting with some of the property owners, feel that adding back the former uses and keeping the medical use at least would allow the property owners more economic viability of their properties and provide more viable commercial usage, if you will, in this particular area.
That zoning amendment is now being reviewed by the town attorney. Once finalized, the amendment will go back before the planning board for a public hearing and a vote before it's then sent to town council for final approval. We'll be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce CEO Wendy Northcross. We'll chat with Town Manager Mark Ells. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.